Did you know that in Ready or Not, one of the sites for the MK17 has a QR code printed on it? And if you scan it, you'll find that it says, "Nope, no Easter eggs here." Which is kind of funny, as that message makes it an Easter egg. Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we take a look at some of the latest and not so latest Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of an Easter egg, secret or hidden detail that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments. And if you want to be extra kind and support the many hours I pour into recording each and every one of these Easter eggs myself, then check out the link to my Patreon in the description. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with a very strange Easter egg. That is, if it even is an Easter egg. Allow me to explain. Now, despite being a game where you can climb with your buddies, Peak is also a game that lets you climb alone. And as someone who isn't a big fan of multiplayer-only games, that's awesome. There's something strangely calming about climbing a massive mountain on your own. Except on one of my climbs, I wasn't alone. When entering the alpine biome, I saw this. So behind a rock, a man popped his head up before hiding again. Now I'm not up to date on Peak lore, so perhaps this guy is explained in the game somewhere. But after a quick Google search, I don't think he is. I asked my son, who has played loads of Peak, and he said he's never seen the man before either. So yeah, a random man appeared during my solo climb, and to be honest, it's kind of creepy. If you can offer any sort of reason for the man's appearance, please let me know. Up next is Brutal John 2. Now, Brutal John 2 does that thing where there was never actually a Brutal John 1. The series just decided to start at 2. So don't be confused if this is the first time you've heard of Brutal John or Brutal Dog. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot to mention. In Brutal John, you either play as John or as the wisecracking Brutal Dog, as you try to save a world that has been overtaken by crypto mining corporations. It's about as silly as you'd expect, but it's also a really fun game that is packed with Easter eggs. Well, I say packed, I've found 2 so far, but I'm sure there's going to be more. Now, the game's first level takes place on a train, where you're taught the do's and don'ts of combat, and as you make your way through the train, you can find this guy. So this is Gordon Freeman from the Half-Life series. Half-Life 1 famously began with a 5-minute scene where Gordon was riding a train into work, something which the child me with zero attention span really didn't appreciate. Anyway, Gordon Freeman is famously really shy and never speaks in any of the Half-Life games. Well, he does here.
Hey, Doc.
Whoa, man, you were actually talking. We all thought you were always quiet.
Now, I've said before that Duke Nukem would often insult games that he referenced in his own games. You have Duke Nukem, who would usually insult the game he was referencing. See, I did say that. Well, Brutal John 2 gives Duke a taste of his own medicine. During level 6, you can find this. So Duke's body can be found in a dumpster, though he's still able to give us a thumbs up. If you've played a Duke Nukem game before, then you won't be surprised to learn that this dumpster is located at the back of a strip club. Because of course it is.
The gears broke this guy.
Now, in the last episode of this series, we discovered this copyright baiting Shrek Easter egg in Bus Flipper Simulator. Well, this next Easter egg doesn't reference a movie. It instead references my mum's dentist, my aunt's tennis coach, and my sister's electrician. One of the customers in Bus Flipper Simulator is a man named Johnny, and if you recognise him, I know what you've been up to. You see, Johnny here is based off the real-world actor Johnny Sins. Now, I've got to be careful here, but let's just say that Johnny's acting can be very wooden, and some may even say stiff. But he always finishes the job. Moving swiftly on, this next Easter egg is much more family friendly. When renovating the London bus, you can find this. So this fancy looking hammer is Mjolnir, Thor's trusty weapon. Unfortunately, you can't use Mjolnir to bang anything useful, but apparently our friend Johnny is an expert in the banging department. so we should be fine. Now, a couple of videos back, we found some Easter eggs in Backroom Loop, which is basically a very fancy game of Spot the Difference. Well, today's Spot the Difference simulator is the appropriately named Twisted Gallery. In Twisted Gallery, you have to explore an endless looping art gallery that can get pretty twisted. I mean, the clue is in the name. Obviously, you need to keep an eye out for anomalies, which can range from the subtle to the well, not so subtle. Some of the anomalies actually reference real-world games and movies, with perhaps the most obvious one being this giant matrix room, which looks really cool, but doesn't let you find out how deep the rabbit hole goes. Though apparently, Johnny can help with that too.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Anyway, the next Easter egg is a bit more subtle. So this spinning top that doesn't stop spinning is a reference to Inception, where Leonardo DiCaprio's character uses a spinning top to determine if he's dreaming or not. Next up is my favourite Easter egg from the game. So this creepy girl is a reference to The Ring, which featured a very similar scene. The final Easter egg from Twisted Gallery is one that we've all seen far too many times. So walking through the random hole that appears in the gallery leads you to a Dark Souls bonfire and an armour-wearing duck. I mean, as far as Dark Souls references go, this one is pretty cool. Now, after covering some TF2 Easter eggs in the last episode of this series, I was told that I'd missed a couple, including one that many people claim to be the best, so I'll save that until the very end. I mean, saying that, the first Easter egg is actually pretty great too. On the manhole map, you can find this. So through the sewer grate, we can see a bunch of rats having a party. Using our good old friend Mr. NoClip, we can get a better look at what's going on, and it turns out that the rats are raving to a xylophone, which has to be a first. I mean, raving to a xylophone, I see dancing rats all the time. The final Easter egg for today's video can also be found on Manhole. Just outside of the red team spawn, you can find this. So you can see two eyes watching out the dumpster. Again, using NoClip, you can see that this peeper actually has one pink eye and one yellow eye, which is pretty unique. Well, these eyes belong to Spamton, a shopkeeper from the extremely popular Delta Room. Apparently, Delta Room has loads of Easter eggs, so I should probably get around to checking it out at some point. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in video games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. YouTube seems to think that you'll enjoy the video on screen now, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.